Good evening, crafters. I'm hoping that you'll be able to follow with this. I'm hoping the light is enough if I don't keep putting my head in the way and shadowing it. A couple of crafters asked if I would do a tutorial on this tool tag notebook box. So I've given it a go. In fact, I've given it about 18 goes from this morning with this iPad of mine. Oh, having absolute traumas. So let's just hope. Look, I've now got the phone back up and I'm just hoping that everything stays in shot. Okay, I've got my scissors. I've got my scorer, pencil, ruler, little pointy tool, whatever it is they call that, bone folder, crucial, and glue, crucial. Okay, so I've got everything done here ready. The papers for inside, the tag and the little tag holder, the base, because not everybody might have those thick wooden ones, so I decided to make a card one. That's the little tiny box that it sits on. We're going to make that. The actual sides, I've got those ready and cut out ready. So let's hope this time I can do it. I'm just going to get on with it and see how we go. Okay, I've used a 12 by 12 album paper from a 12 by 12, the luxury stack. I'm not sure if it's still on sale. I wouldn't know, just one I managed to acquire. I've gone with blue, and the reason I've gone with blue is because that cheeky Sonia Frisks, love her heart, she said, oh yes, nice box, I'll have mine in blue. So for your cheeks, Sonia Frisks, just shows you, doesn't it? If you don't ask, you don't get. I'm making this box for you, darling. I've made about 45 this afternoon while trying to upload this, but anyway, we're giving it a go. So this was the 12, as you can see, this was the 12 by 12. I cut off these two strips, either scissors or guillotine, whichever way works for you, crafters. And you're left with a 30 centimetre by 18 centimetre. That's what's going to cover the outside of the boxes. And we need these two strips, and that's what's here, what is going to make the little box. It'll all make sense as I work my way through it. All right. Okay. So first of all, we need to cover. I'm going to bring my extremely messy scorer into play. I'm ever so sorry because I forget to move this out of the way and do all my gluing and sticking on it. It is a little bit of a mess, I'm afraid. So here we go. We need 4 6 centimetres by 15 centimetres. Any card that you use. You can even use, like, you know, cornflake box card, that type of thickness. The first one I made was paper, and you know, it still held its shape. So if you do it in card, you're going to be laughing. So you need 4 of these, and we stick them beside each other, and we're going to be leaving a little tiny gap. Now I use my ruler, and then I stick the next one, and then I stick my next one, and then I stick my next one. And the reason, excuse me, we need this gap is because we're going to ease the paper up. And the reason you do this, you don't just bang it out, just like we do our journals. If you ease the paper, it stretches, it gives. There's a little bit of give in it. And then you're able to close it. So there you are. There's your piece of paper that you've measured out. So 30 centimetres by 18 centimetres. You then put your 4 pieces of card along it. I thought it was better to do it this way than actually gluing it because of time. You don't want to sit here half hour listening to me doing, you know, the ordinary gluing bits. So there we are. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what we do around the edge, I actually use this card as my guide. Can you see how I'm folding over the end? I'm easing it in, and then once you've actually got it folded over, you bone folder the sides, and that's going to make it a lot easier. And I'm going to do this one again. Let me see if I can do it that way. Can you see? It's going over, 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 and look how lovely, lovely and flat that is. And then when you've done all 4 sides, you then either stick them with double-sided sticky tape down here and fold over, or glue. I struggle terrible with the double-sided sticky tape, so I actually glue these sides down. Now when you're doing the edges, you just have to, just like you do, sorry about the state of my fingers, they are in a terrible state. You just have to pinch that corner in, either side, just give it a little pinch, and then when it goes up, it makes a neater corner. Okay, I struggle and still struggle with this, getting that right, so please don't worry, it's not easy peasy. It's, you know, practice makes perfect, I always say. So then when you've got all the sides folded, it looks like this. A little handy one I made earlier. When you've got all your sides folded, it looks like this. So 6 centimetre by 15 centimetre, 1, 2, 3, 4 stuck on. You've folded all your sides, you've eased them into position, and there we are. That's your first little part of this box. Now we are going to do the little base and lid. Now I've drawn it out like this, so hopefully it makes a bit more sense. Those bits you cut off, they can either be 6 centimetres or 5 centimetres. It depends on how high you want your bases, you see? So, you know, you decide what you want, but for this purpose I've done 5 centimetres by 30 centimetres. And then you've got to score it. We're going to score it and we're going to cut it, okay? And what we hope to achieve when we've scored this and we've cut it and we've folded it, we are going to bend over the first 2, and then we are going to cut along each score point, and that will make that box that we need. Okay, so let's do it together. Where's me? Which would be lovely. Here we are. So this one I've cut out because I need it a little bit deeper, is 6 centimetres. So it's 6 centimetres by 30 centimetres. Let me get my little... Now, don't be too hard when scoring, because with the cards sometimes it can go straight through. So, is that in shot? Is that in shot? I'm hoping this is in shot. I can't see. I've got more sellotape on this mobile stuck on a stick than you can possibly imagine. Right, okay. Now, because it is 6, the box is 6, 6 and 6, as I've shown you here. 6, 6 and 6. This little gap needs to be, you know, we have to be mindful of this little gap. So I made it 6.5. That way there was just enough play. 6.5. There was just enough play for you to go round the edge. So all the way down, you are going to mark. You go up to that score line you've just done, and again, you're going to go to the nearest one and you're going to score it 6.5 and come down 6.5, nearest one to the 6.5, which is that one. I'm ever so sorry I can't do it by this. I cannot retain what these are called. All my life, never been able to retain them, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just working on my centimetres, and you're all clever. You can work out on your scoreboard. You know, you might not have a scoreboard, and you know, you'll be working with the ruler, which is fine. There we go, and very gently fold them over. Just give them a little bit of, there we go. So that is our folds to make our square. Yeah, okay. Now, because obviously we don't want it that high, we're going to fold this over. Now, because it's 6 centimetres, every 2 centimetres you're going to want a score line. Okay, so 2 centimetres all the way down to the bottom. Next one, from that score line you've just done, 2 centimetres. Okay. Now, the reason we've done that is because we are going to, let's give it a little fold. Oh, just ease it up, ease it over so it doesn't tear, just so it's got a bit of give in it. Look at that. That's it. It's amazing how forgiving it is, really. It's all the little fibres, isn't it, in the paper and the card all put together. Okay, now when you've got it at this position, you then, at each point that you have done your score across, oh, it might show up better on there. I'll do one there. You just cut up to that first score line, and you've got an easy cut. As if I turn it over, you can see that score line. Can you see that score line? So you're just cutting up to that second score line there. Now, because we don't want to mess about and make it hard work for ourselves decorating, because we're lazy, we are just folding it over. Okay, and I'm going to actually use some of this double-sided sticky tape. If I done the whole thing in this, it would be like a scene out of Carry On Grafting, because I struggle with this double-sided sticky tape. It loves my skin and it sticks to me, and I can't work with it very well. Okay, on saying that, that just went quite nice, didn't it? Now, with that double-sided sticky tape, don't forget to, and I can't remember what that's called, but use your bone folder and make sure you get all the air bubbles out of it. And then you get your pokey tool and you just take the top layer off. There we go. Now, you've done your sticky, and you're just going to, right, okay, so you've got the one we've cut, the middle one and the top one. So the first 2 lines, we're going to push those together. There we go. And again, bone folder. If you haven't got a bone folder, the ruler works just the same. And they are 50p in any local shop. There you go. And then we're going to fold these back on themselves. Bump, bump, bump. Because they are going to, look, can you see how they just literally fold in on themselves? And there we have, because that's going to go down on our base. There we have our little box, we have our little base that our box is going to sit in. Alright, so we are going to take those. I've got to glue them. I cannot physically tape. It will take probably an hour, and it will be horrendous. Okay, so first one I'm going to do and hold it. Now this glue is fabulous, isn't it? This 3-in-1 glue. It is wonderful, but it is a bit pricey. Amazon at the moment, I don't know if any of you use it, they've got a special on Amazon at the moment. Mick was an absolute darling and managed to get hold of a few for me. So I'm using it a little bit like it's PVA at the moment. Oh, in a month when it's gone and I'm tearful, we'll all be able to say I told you so. But at the moment, there we are. It is lovely, isn't it? It is quick. Oh, let's just do this last bit. Ooh. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. And there we are. That's going to be our lovely base. Now we haven't got to worry too much because we're going to stick this on a card so that it stands and won't topple over. Okay, so then we go to the little card base that I've made. So again, this time 10 centimetres by 10.5. Okay, cut out your card, whatever paper you're using, face down. You cut your board out, stick your board up on top, and we're going to use the same process. We're going to use the card as our guide. And as we bring it over, we're going to bone fold it so that we're going to make sure it's lovely and flat. Lovely and flat. Okay. Lovely. Now, very quickly. Frivolous. Frivolous. Now don't forget those little ends, just give it a little tuck. It doesn't matter because this is going underneath. Nobody's going to see this unless they pick it up and inspect it. Right, there we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Lovely. Okay. There you go. If any comes out, just wipe it off. There we go. There is that pretty. Now, I might have done it a little bit too long. Now, the reason I've done it too long is because when we stick our base onto it, it's going to be absolutely, lovely to stick it further back. If I show you this one I've made earlier, we're going to stick it further back, and then you are going to decorate more to decorate on the front, or you can stick it in the middle and decorate the same all the way round. I set this one a little bit further back because as you can see, just a little bit further back so that I could get more at the front. So yeah, so this one, and in that way, when you get all your bits and pieces that are going to, go on it, they should look quite nice. Okay, so there we are, that's that part. I think we're doing all right for time. I'm going to steam on because I think we can, time-wise. Now, we want a nice insides. Oh, this bit's come unstuck here. I don't think I even stuck this bit. Where's the little bit of paper that's going inside, the little bit of card? Now this is going inside, so we need this little bit of card, and Debbie has not got that cut out. Where was my thinking on that? Now remember, you're just coming in a fraction. I hope I'm still in shot. You're just coming in a fraction because you're going to want to go on the outside, inside. It's just going to sit quite nicely on the inside of the box. This case is cool, isn't it? This. Okay, there we go. There we are. All right, so that was a little bit snug, so I'll just cut off a tad. I always go on the outside of the draw line, and then that way I've got a little bit to play with if needed. Okay, so there we go. There's that. And now we're going to glue around the outside. Whoop. Pop that back in. Give that some more glue there. Whoop. And shall we stick it in the middle or shall we stick it at the back, Sonia? I don't know. So I'm just going to go in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going to stick it in the middle. And then we'll just decorate round the outside. Okay, so there we go. How does that look? Does that look all right? When we get our box, that will sit in lovely. So there we are, that's the base. And any little lines that you see, we're going to cover that with the lace. Look at that. You know, all your little lines get covered up. So we'll cover that with the lace and what have you. And it should be fine, and pearls and seam binding and everything covers it. So you're not going to see it. Okay, so there we are. That's on there nice. That's straight as I'm going to get it, I think. It's just going off. So we'll leave that to one side. Now, I haven't obviously put anything on the bottom. I haven't forgotten. Crafters, I haven't forgotten. Now, where did I get with the lid? Did I have the lid ready? Now, the same with the lid. Little, cut out a little square to go inside, and then cut out a little square to go on the top. Now, it doesn't matter if you can see the white, because again, when we decorate, we're going to be hanging bits and bobs over the top as we go, you know, and it's gonna cut. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Got a little bit of. I think this was from either Pam from Honeybee Crafting or Pamela from Gypsy Girl Craft. Sent me this fibres. Isn't it fabulous? So there we are. Yeah. Okay. So don't worry about that. So we've got our base. We've got our top. The only thing we've forgotten is cover the inside. So because some of it's square, some of it's lined, some of it's you know, this patterned, you know, it's all mix and match, and I think that's quite nice actually, with it all mixed and matched like that. Where is it, Debbie? Chatting and stalling for time so she can find what it is she's after. Right, okay, here. So there we go. So now this bit that was left over from the second sheet that I've not got ready, I'm going to measure it. Okay, so we have got, that is 15. So we need to come in a good half, because we want it to be just coming up to the edge, but not too much. So we're going to measure this one at 14.5. And the reason being, when I cut that and I move it down, there will just be 2.5 millimetres either side, which I think will be enough. And then down this side, the same. We want to do down this side again, just that fraction. I'm going to just come in that fraction, and that is going to be, so that was what we just did was 14.5 centimetres, and this length that we're cutting it to 15 15, 20, 23 and a half. That's 23 and a half. Oh my goodness. I panicked then. I was going to show myself up, but I did it. Okay, let's get the cutter. Where's that gone? Oh. Oh. Nearly dinner time, isn't it? So I just would like to get this done before going to start dinner for everybody. I was trying for takeaway tonight. I was trying for Chinese, but I don't think I'm going to be lucky because we cooked a chicken up that was, you know what it's like when your dates, you've got to keep to your dates, haven't you? And I was so looking for Chinese. I do love that. Right, okay, there we go. So we cut that 14.5 centimetres, 23.5 centimetres. And let's have a look. When we get in here, oh look at that, just perfect round the edge. So there we go. We're going to be liberal with this while we can, and while I'm doing this, don't want it not to stick, do we? There we go. And we're just going to make sure we are level. That looks okay to me. Let's hope so. And again, ruler, bone folder, they both work the same. All you're doing is flattening that glue against all the sides so that it adheres to itself. Now, we've got these slight little joins. Do you remember that I was saying? And what you have to do, you just have to follow along those creases that we made. Remember these? Underneath there are these creases. And we're just running that bone folder, or the edge of your ruler, we're just running it along gently, enough to make it look pliable, because we, when this is dry, are going to want to ease it up. And again, ruler, fold it, so you're holding it in place. Just give it another little, oh, there we go. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. So it's just this one that's, this one's not playing ball over here. Okay, so, there we go. Let me just look. Ah, now this was another one of my attempts. So there, we've got, you see how flexible that is? This one was inside. Once it's stuck down, I've given it those creases along those little gaps. Look at that. Folds up lovely. Not splitting, because you very gently eased it in and given it time. That's what it's all about, giving it time to dry and easing it in. Now, I'm not going to go any further with this one because I do not want it to split. I want it to dry, and as it's drying, I want to keep easing it in so that it looks pretty. So we'll have to pretend that this is it for now. It's going to slip and slide in this one a bit, I think. Oh no, it fits okay. Okay, so we've got the base. We've put the little box in. We've put the little, and there we go. Okay, you're getting the idea. All right. Now, inside, I am going to have to use this one. Sorry, crafters, messing you about. Inside, we want a little 4.5 by 7 centimetres, and we're going to want to score it just 1 centimetre either side, and you're going to fold them in and fold the bottom up And what that, sorry, fold the bottom up and fold then the sides in. And what that's going to be is a little bit of glue. What that is going to be is the first pocket right centred. We're going to push it. You probably can't see it because it's the same pattern. Right, once the glue's got hold, then bone folder, you're just pressing those glues together, and then I won't be able to leave it in there, but just to show you, your little tags will all sit, and because you've did the little fold either side, it will give you enough room to put four tags in. So you could do one either side actually, couldn't you? Okay, I don't know whether, I thought I cut a little billy tag. Did I cut a little billy tag? No, never mind. That one, this is my template to draw around my tags. Is what I used to use until I managed to get one of those tag cutters. So there we are, that's that one. And now your papers, hello papers, don't fail me now, here they are. Okay, now your paper size, 11 centimetres by 15 centimetres. Cut them all out, 11 centimetres across, 15 centimetres down, and then you are going to fold them in half. And because they are just little notepads, it doesn't matter if you get that concertina effect at the, is that concertina, not concertina, what's it called, you know, because usually we would if we were doing a journal, we would cut that off and make that straight, wouldn't we? But it doesn't matter with here because they are just little papers. So I've left that one on to show you the size, 15 centimetres by 11 centimetres. For this one, we'll just use a bit of seam binding. And what we're going to do is, and the reason we just use seam binding is because when they run out, you're going to want to fill them back up again. So you're just going to cut that, tie it, which looks, in my opinion, adorable anyway, and then there it is. Your papers are inside ready. So you got your papers inside, you've got your little tag inside, do a little tag this side, you know, or anything you can think of. Is that going to go now? Let's see if that'll go now, hopefully without coming unstuck. There we go, it is. There we are. So now your closures at the side. I cut the lace to length and I stuck either side with a little rose parts, and then that way you can tie it. Also you can use your hole punch and you can pierce 2 holes either side in there with your hole punch and tie it up that way. You can use those all of those fasteners you use on your journals. You can use them on here. Any fastener that you use on a journal, use on here. You could, if you wanted to incorporate, you could just, you know, tie round it if that's what you want to do. You know, it's all, you know, it depends on how shabby you want it to look. You know, add whatever you like. So there we go. I don't think I'm going to decorate it. I don't think I need to decorate it. I think you all need to go off and put your own, you know, put your own touch on it. Look at these. Look at these. What come from Gia sent me in the previous. Look at these little darlings here. Pull that one off. They're lovely. You know, you can add anything, can't you? These that I've got over here, I believe this was from, oh, I've forgotten which crafter sent me these, sorry, in the butterfly challenge. Look at this sweetheart here, you know, pearls around the outside, you know, pearls on the top. You know, just keep going. I mean, look, you know, do what I, you know, added paper, flowers, do whatever, you know, you want with them. I'll decorate this one, and then that way Sonia Frisk has got a little bit of a surprise for Christmas. And you know, don't forget your lace, all the laces. Oh, look at that. Look at, hang on, let's lift it. Look how beautiful this blue lace looks around it. You know, anything. Your world's your oyster. Lovely, lovely little present there. Okay, there's probably loads of tall notepad tag boxes out there. This was my interpretation of a notepad tag, note and tag box, tall tag box. Okay, crafters, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Bye.